It was an ordinary summer day when my friends and I set off on a road trip through the vast, rural landscapes of Kansas. The open road stretched before us, and adventure awaited at every turn. As we drove through the endless fields, we stumbled upon an old, dilapidated farmhouse, standing alone in the middle of nowhere. Curiosity got the better of us, and we decided to explore the decaying relic. The creaking of the floorboards beneath our feet seemed to echo the passage of time, as if the house itself was whispering its secrets to us. Inside, the air was heavy with a musty smell, and a sense of unease enveloped us. We combed through the rooms, drawn to the remnants of the family that once lived here. Faded photographs, torn letters, and personal belongings left behind told the story of a seemingly ordinary family. However, as we dug deeper, we discovered hidden passages and secret rooms, concealed behind bookshelves and false walls. Our excitement mingled with apprehension, sensing that there was more to this farmhouse than met the eye. As we explored further, we stumbled upon a room filled with strange symbols and ritualistic objects. It became evident that the family had been involved in occult activities, seeking to communicate with spirits from beyond. Blood stains on the floor sent shivers down our spines, hinting at darker practices that had taken place within these walls. The tension among our group grew as we realized the depth of the secrets we were unearthing. Amidst the relics of the past, we found a journal that belonged to the youngest member of the family, a girl named Emily. Through her haunting entries, we pieced together the family's descent into darkness. As I read Emily's journal entries, a sense of unease settled over me like a thick, suffocating fog. Her words painted a vivid and chilling picture of the events that unfolded within the walls of her home. The once ordinary and mundane household had transformed into a stage for something otherworldly and sinister. In the beginning, Emily's entries were innocuous, documenting the everyday events of her life. But as I turned the pages, the tone shifted, and her words became increasingly troubled and disjointed. She wrote of strange noises that echoed through the halls at night, of flickering lights that danced with an eerie rhythm, and of cold gusts of wind that swept through the rooms, even on the stillest of nights. At first, Emily brushed off these occurrences as mere coincidences, attributing them to drafts or the creaking of an old house. But as time passed, her descriptions grew more detailed, revealing a growing sense of fear and paranoia that gnawed at her sanity. She spoke of waking up in the dead of night, paralyzed with terror, as shadowy figures loomed over her bed. She wrote of feeling an icy grip around her throat, choking the very breath from her lungs, leaving her gasping for air. One entry, in particular, sent a shiver down my spine. "They are watching me," she wrote, her penmanship shaky and frantic. "Always watching, waiting for me to let my guard down." We couldn't help but feel a growing sense of dread and vulnerability. The veil between reality and the unknown seemed to thin, and we couldn't shake the feeling that something sinister lurked just beyond our vision. Through Emily's journal, we learned that the family had been consumed by their obsession with the occult. They sought forbidden knowledge, trying to summon spirits for guidance and power. As their experiments escalated, their lives spiraled out of control. They became isolated from the world, consumed by their pursuits, and darkness took root in their hearts. Emily's final entries painted a harrowing picture of her descent into madness. Her words became disjointed and incomprehensible, as if she were trying to communicate with an entity beyond human understanding. It was as if the disturbing influence that had taken hold of her household had now taken hold of her mind. I closed the journal, my hands trembling. As the day turned to dusk, the atmosphere in the farmhouse shifted. Unexplained sounds echoed through the hallways, and we felt an unseen presence watching us. Our unease intensified, and we decided to leave, eager to escape the oppressive energy that enveloped the old house. But as we made our way to the exit, the door slammed shut, trapping us inside. Fear gripped us as we realized that we were locked inside the farmhouse, cut off from the outside world. Panic set in, and we struggled to find another way out. The air grew colder, and shadows seemed to dance in the corners of our vision. The darkness seemed alive, as if the spirits of the past were angry at our intrusion. With adrenaline coursing through our veins, we rallied together to find a way out. Desperation fueled our determination, and we managed to pry open a boarded-up window. As we crawled through the narrow opening, we felt a sense of relief wash over us. The oppressive energy of the farmhouse lessened, and we escaped into the fading light of the setting sun. Though we managed to escape the old farmhouse, the memories of that day would forever haunt us. The secrets we uncovered and the darkness we witnessed left a lasting impact on our lives. The experience taught us to be cautious of the unknown and to respect the boundaries of the past. The abandoned farmhouse had held a history of darkness, and we were lucky to emerge unscathed. Let's hop onto story number 2, but before I begin reading, make sure that you have subscribed to Mr. Scare for regular horror podcasts. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an eerie glow on the barren landscape of Utah, I found myself driving along a remote highway. The desolation of the surroundings made me feel like the last person on Earth. The only sounds were the low hum of my car's engine and the occasional rustle of the wind. Just as the darkness was starting to envelop the land, I spotted an unusual sight on the side of the road: an abandoned car. It was a rusty, old sedan with shattered windows and faded paint, seemingly left behind without a trace of its owner. My curiosity got the better of me, and against my better judgment, I pulled over to investigate. As I stepped out of my car, a chill ran down my spine. The air around the abandoned vehicle felt heavy, as if the silence held 1,000 untold stories. The engine was cold, indicating that the car had been sitting there for a while. I looked around, half expecting to see someone emerge from the shadows. I peered through the windows, trying to make sense of the situation. The interior of the car was in disarray, with belongings scattered across the seats and floor. It looked as if the car's occupants had left in a hurry, but there was no sign of where they had gone. As I continued my investigation, I noticed something odd in the back seat: a tattered notebook lying amidst the debris. Curiosity getting the best of me, I opened it and started reading. The entries were cryptic, filled with disjointed thoughts and chilling messages about a haunting presence that followed the writer. The words sent shivers down my spine, and I wondered if I was walking into a situation far beyond my understanding. A sudden rustling in the nearby bushes startled me. My heart pounded as I strained my eyes to see what had caused the commotion. The darkness seemed to come alive, as if something was lurking just beyond my field of vision. My instinct screamed at me to leave, but my curiosity compelled me to stay. My breath quickened, and a bead of sweat trickled down my temple as I tried to make sense of the unsettling rustling in the bushes. I strained my ears, hoping to catch any other sound that might offer a clue to the source of the disturbance, but the only thing I heard was the relentless thudding of my own heartbeat. My mind raced with possibilities. Was it a wild animal, a wayward traveler, or something far more sinister? I couldn't dismiss the nagging feeling that I was being watched, that unseen eyes were trained on me from the darkness. Yet, I couldn't tear my gaze away from the mysterious rustling, like a moth drawn to a flickering flame. A voice inside me screamed to leave, to abandon this encounter and seek safety, but I felt frozen in place. It was as if an invisible force rooted me to the ground, my feet weighed down by an unseen hand. I was trapped. Just as I was about to retreat to my car, a faint whisper carried on the wind, echoing through the desolate landscape. I couldn't make out the words, but the chilling tone sent a shiver down my spine. My heart raced, and I felt an overwhelming sense of unease. I knew I had to get out of there, and fast. A surge of adrenaline flooded my body, giving me a burst of courage. I took a tentative step backward, my eyes still fixed on the glinting eyes in the shadows. The eyes followed my every move, unblinking and unwavering, their intensity sending a chill down my spine. At that moment, I made my decision. I couldn't stay any longer. My instinct for self-preservation overpowered my morbid curiosity. My heart pounding like a drum, I turned and sprinted back towards the safety of the main road, the sounds of rustling and growls echoing in my ears. As I rushed back to my car, a deep sense of dread settled over me. Panic and terror gripped me like a vice, my mind racing with thoughts of what could be chasing me: a wild animal, a deranged individual, or something far more sinister that defied rational explanation. The abandoned vehicle seemed like an ominous portal into darkness. I started my car, and the engine roared to life. With one last glance at the mysterious sedan, I sped away from the scene, my mind racing with questions and fear. Over the next few days, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had stumbled upon something far more sinister than I could comprehend. The mysterious abandoned car haunted my thoughts, and the cryptic notebook entries echoed in my mind. I shared my experience with a local historian who revealed the unsettling history of that highway. Legend had it that the road was once a well-traveled route for a group of settlers. They had encountered unexplained phenomena and had left behind tales of a malevolent presence that haunted the area. In the end, I couldn't explain what had truly happened that night on the lonely Utah highway. But one thing was for certain: I had uncovered a chilling revelation that would stay with me forever. I vowed to never return to that stretch of road, lest I find myself entangled in the mysteries of the past once again. Our excitement was palpable as we set out on our camping trip deep in the heart of the Rocky Mountains. The wilderness promised adventure and camaraderie as we hiked through rugged terrain and marveled at nature's beauty. With backpacks filled with supplies and hearts full of anticipation, we embarked on our journey. As we delved deeper into the wilderness, we were in awe of the majestic mountains that surrounded us. The air was crisp, and the scent of pine filled our lungs. Our laughter echoed through the forest as we shared stories around the campfire, creating memories that would last a lifetime. On the third day of our journey, the tranquility was shattered when we realized one of our friends, Alex, was missing. Panic surged through our group, and we frantically searched the campsite and surrounding area, calling out his name. But there was no sign of him. As the sun dipped below the horizon, our anxiety escalated. The forest grew dark, and an eerie silence settled upon us. We were not alone. Every rustle in the bushes, every distant howl of a wild animal, sent shivers down our spines. An unseen and mysterious presence seemed to be watching our every move. With heavy hearts, we decided to venture into the wilderness to find Alex. Armed with flashlights and a determination to bring him back safely, we followed the faint traces of his footsteps. Fear clung to us like a shadow as we navigated the treacherous terrain, uncertain of what we might encounter. Suddenly, we heard a blood-curdling scream in the distance. Our hearts pounded in our chests as we rushed toward the sound, fearing the worst. What we encountered was beyond our imagination. A large, wounded bear was menacingly hovering over Alex, who was trying to escape the animal's clutches. Without hesitation, we sprung into action. Armed with makeshift weapons and a fierce determination to protect our friend, we distracted the bear and created a diversion. As we confronted the massive bear, its enraged roars reverberated through the forest, shaking the very ground beneath us. Its sharp claws and powerful jaws posed a deadly threat, but we couldn't afford to back down. We shouted and waved our weapons, creating a distraction to draw the bear's attention away from our friend. Alex's grip on the bear loosened slightly, and he managed to break free, but in the frenzy, he stumbled and fell into a nearby ditch obscured by bushes and shadows. Panic surged through us as we realized he was now out of our sight, and the bear's attention shifted back to us. Fear and determination mingled within us, urging us to both face the monstrous beast and find Alex, but we couldn't do both at once. With heavy hearts, we made a split-second decision to trust Alex to keep himself hidden and safe while we continued to distract the bear. Our hearts sank as we lost sight of Alex. We searched frantically, calling his name through the dense underbrush, but the forest seemed to swallow him whole. Fear and desperation gripped us as we knew time was running out. Finally, our diversion paid off. The bear seemed to grow frustrated with our persistent defiance, and its focus shifted away from us. It glanced towards the direction of the ditch where Alex had fallen, curiosity sparking in its fierce eyes. Our hearts sank, fearing the worst. But then, to our immense relief, we heard the sound of rustling from the bushes behind us. Alex had seized the opportunity to crawl away, concealing himself further in the undergrowth. He must have seen an opening amidst the bear's momentary distraction and used it to his advantage. We were relieved that he was safe, but we knew we had to get him to safety as soon as possible. With great care and determination, we managed to carry Alex back to our campsite. As we tended to his injuries, we couldn't help but reflect on the harrowing events of the night. The wilderness had tested our strength and resolve, but we had come out on the other side stronger and bonded in a way we never could have imagined. In the end, our camping trip turned into a test of survival and friendship. We had faced the unknown, navigated the treacherous wilderness, and come out with a deeper appreciation for each other and the power of nature. Though the scars of that night would always be with us, we knew that we had faced our fears and emerged victorious. In the rugged terrain of Wyoming, our group of urban explorers set out on a thrilling adventure. Drawn by the lure of history and mystery, we stumbled upon an abandoned mining town that time seemed to have forgotten. The sun dipped below the horizon as we ventured into the eerie silence of the forgotten settlement. The dilapidated buildings loomed before us, their walls weathered by the passage of time. Broken windows and creaking doors beckoned us to uncover the secrets that lay within. Excitement mingled with trepidation as we entered the town's desolate heart, eager to uncover the dark past that history had left behind. As we explored the abandoned structures, we stumbled upon chilling evidence of the town's history. Rusty machinery lay abandoned, and faded photographs adorned the walls of crumbling buildings. The unsettling feeling of being watched sent shivers down our spines, but our curiosity pushed us forward. With dusk settling in, the remaining daylight began to wane, and we realized the need for mobile torches. However, they offered little solace in the pitch-dark interiors of the buildings. Our beams of light only revealed fragments of the town's tragic past, leaving much in the shadows. As we delved deeper into the labyrinth of abandoned structures, a sense of unease washed over us. Every creak and groan of the decaying town amplified our fear. The stories of this place came back to haunt us, filling our minds with thoughts of the horrors that once unfolded here. As we walked through the abandoned streets, the once vibrant town now seemed like a ghost town, devoid of any life. The echoes of our own footsteps felt foreign, mingling with an eerie silence that seemed to emanate from the very earth beneath us. Just as we were absorbed in our exploration, the lights flickered and then went out, plunging us into total darkness. Panic surged through the group as we fumbled for our flashlights, but the darkness seemed to swallow the feeble beams, leaving us disoriented and vulnerable. As we tried to regain our bearings, a feeling of being watched intensified. Shadows danced at the corners of our vision, and whispers, distant and barely audible, teased our ears. The sense of an unseen presence sent our hearts pounding in unison. As fear and unease gripped us, we made a collective decision to abandon our exploration and leave the forsaken town. Our nerves on edge, we retraced our steps through the darkness, guided only by the dim light of our mobile torches. Finally reaching the outskirts of the town, we heaved a collective sigh of relief. We vowed never to return to the abandoned mining town, where the past refused to stay buried. Its chilling secrets would forever haunt our memories, a reminder of the terror we had faced in the heart of Wyoming's rugged terrain. In the end, the abandoned mining town in Wyoming had proven to be more than we had bargained for. The darkness had concealed more than just decaying buildings. It had concealed the haunting echoes of a past best left undisturbed. As we left the forsaken town behind, we couldn't shake the feeling that something had watched us from the shadows, a silent witness to the exploration of its tragic history. As I embarked on my solo road trip through the backwoods of Montana, I relished the freedom of the open road and the opportunity to immerse myself in nature's beauty. The rugged landscape and dense forests created an enchanting atmosphere, but little did I know that my adventure would take a terrifying turn. As the sun began to set, I decided to set up camp for the night in a secluded area I stumbled upon. The campground was surrounded by towering trees, their branches stretching towards the darkening sky. Though it seemed peaceful, a feeling of unease crept over me as I felt like I was being watched. As I prepared my campsite, I couldn't shake the feeling of eyes on me. Every rustle in the bushes and snap of a twig sent a chill down my spine. I tried to brush off my nerves as mere paranoia, but the sensation of being observed only intensified. As night fell, the darkness seemed to close in around me. The lack of mobile network meant I was cut off from the outside world, adding to my growing anxiety. I built a small fire for comfort, but it did little to ease the tension in the air. Unable to shake the feeling of being watched, I glanced around the campground, searching for any signs of life. That's when I noticed the glint of eyes in the shadows. Peering back at me were pairs of glowing eyes, watching from the cover of darkness. Fear gripped me as I realized I was not alone. As the rain suddenly poured down, I hurriedly packed my belongings and made my way back to my car. The rain obscured my vision, and I stumbled through the mud, feeling the weight of unseen eyes upon me. Panic set in as I fumbled with my keys, desperate to escape the eerie campground. Just as I managed to start the car, the rain-soaked windshield revealed shadowy figures surrounding me. Panic consumed me as I hit the gas, driving blindly through the treacherous backwoods. My heart pounded in my chest as I felt the relentless presence of the unknown chasing me. As I navigated the winding roads, my mind raced with fear and confusion. Who were these mysterious watchers, and what did they want from me? The headlights of my car pierced through the darkness, revealing glimpses of the haunting figures that pursued me. With adrenaline coursing through my veins, I refused to succumb to the fear. I drove faster, pushing the limits of my car and my nerves. The rain made the roads treacherous, but I was determined to make it to safety. After what felt like an eternity, I finally reached the main road, where the rain gradually subsided. The sensation of being watched slowly faded, but the memory of that harrowing night stayed with me forever. As I left the backwoods of Montana behind, I vowed never to return. In the end, my solo road trip had turned into a nightmare. The isolated campground and the unsettling presence of the watchers had tested my courage and resolve. I had survived, but I knew that I would always carry the chilling memory of that night with me, a reminder of the unknown dangers that can lurk in the heart of the wilderness.